to RailFans. I'm Shane Segay. Join us as we discover Ottawa's O train, Toronto's subway, and Montreal's metro system together. Welcome everyone to RailChat number 3. I'm Shane Segay, and I just want to wish everyone Happy New Year, Happy 2022. I hope everyone is doing well, safe and healthy. It's always important, especially at this unprecedented time. So hopefully everyone is doing well. And thank you for joining today. I have a couple things to talk about today. One of the things is going to be a Stage 2 LRT in Ottawa. I'm going to talk a little bit about the REM in Montreal. And also have some really cool new updates that Derek Ellis did for the RailFan system map. Derek Ellis is the creator of the RailFans map, and he's been constantly making great improvements to the map. So there's all sorts of cool new things that have been added to it that are launching imminently, and going to show you a little demo and talk a little bit about that as we go. So once again, welcome. And I guess we'll get started by talking about O-Train Stage 2 LRT. So obviously, we had a Fedco update. I think it's been about 2 weeks now, or approximately. I think it was December 17, and we found out that the south extension was going to be delayed by about 6, maybe 8, 9 months due to, pandemic, COVID, supplies and things like that. But the good news so far is that the east extension is really trending well. We can definitely see that, the Montreal Road overpass, the station, the highway realignment, the flyover from Blair into the median, all very important aspects of the project going to the east. They're looking very good right now. And we're going to be seeing this spring the transitway overpass near Blair is going to be dismantled, and then we're going to start seeing progress happening, converting the old road from Blair to the flyover into rail. So to me, honestly, because I've seen a lot of people questioning how does the east really look, where does that really stand? I think the east is really trending very well. We've heard a lot about how it's on track. Pretty much all the highway shifting is pretty much all done. There's very little left on that part. You can see the guideway in the middle. It's been filled in. It used to be a bit of a ditch or a little ravine kind of thing in the median of the highway. That's been filled in. You can see the some rail actually being installed. If you're looking just east past the Parkway overpass, you can look down and see that some rail and ties have been put in place there. We're going to see more and more of that develop as things continue on, but it's definitely great to see the progress happening here. And I think really the next critical point is going to be taking down that old highway over, or the transway overpass outside of Blair, and seeing that road get converted into rail. Once that happens, we're probably going to start seeing some test trains heading down into that median, because they're going to be operating a test portion between Jeanne d'Arc and Montreal Road. So definitely a lot to look at in the east. Exciting to see that it's really advancing well. And, other than taking down the old transitway overpass, which I think is going to be pretty routine, maybe they'll end up doing a bit of a highway closure on a weekend or an evening or something like that to help facilitate that. But beyond that, and converting the road to get the trains to the median, I think there's not really much to worry about there. Looking to the west, again, hi David. Looking to the west, things are looking pretty good as well. We can definitely see a lot of progress on the Sir John A. Macdonald Parkway. You can see the cut and cover trench and the tunnel structure being excavated and built that will carry all the way over to between Byron and Richmond Road. So when you really look at the pictures, we got a really good look at that from Fedco, as well as from the contributions on our snapshot updates on the site. It's really progressing at a very high pace, I would say. We can look back a year where there was just construction fencing on the sides of where the excavation was going to be taking place. It's really excavated now. It's deep and it's wide and it's big, and it's really happening. So again, great to see the progress happening there. And then you look at Lincoln Fields, and you can already see like the concrete foundation and structure, as well as some steel structures going up as far as elevator pits at this important station, which is going to be a major transfer point going to Moody or going to Algonquin towards Nepean and Barrhaven. So a lot of progress happening there. Looking to the south, obviously people who are interested in the Trillium Line reopening, Carleton University students among many others, there is a delay. We're being told about 6 to 9 months potentially. When you look at the pictures, for something that was supposed to open it's funny to say next year. We're in 2022 right now. So what is supposed to open, should have opened this year, is now going to be happening, probably spring or summer of 2023, at least when the handoff is going to be. So it's going to be interesting to see if they can sort of make up time on what has happened here to sort of limit or mitigate how much of a delay there's going to be. Hopefully things get back on track as far as that goes, but it's good to have an idea more concretely now that there is a delay and it's not left open to the imagination where things really stand. But there's several stations there where you can really see the progress advancing. You can look at the airport station, which is really advanced quite a bit, and we're already starting to see rail and making its way up to the airport and coming towards Uplands. And the Upland station is also very interesting to watch progress as well. That has a lot of concrete and steel structure that's already gone up. Some of the farther stations down to the south there, Limebank, Leitrim, as well, looking really good. Hopefully we get to see some more progress happen over the next spring and all that, because again, in the winter, like, things really do slow down if it hasn't really risen enough out of the ground. So very much looking forward to all of that. Really hope that things continue to trend well, especially in the east. The east is really looking very strong, and hopefully that the south extension doesn't become too much, experience too much of a delay. I can see in the chat that a lot of people are really excited about Lincoln Fields. It really is an interesting site. Did tour it about a month ago, and for quite an expansive and sprawling station that used to be, with the Transway and the buses, it's really interesting to see how that has evolved, how they created a bus loop around there, how the trains are going to be coming in, passing underneath Carling Avenue. They're building new road decking across Carling Avenue so that the trains can pass underneath, because the alignment's a little different. The existing pedestrian overpass for Woodruff High School is going to be taken down. They're building a new one, again, realigned in such a way that the trains can pass underneath. And then the flyover that they're building just south of Lincoln Fields, where the trains going to Algonquin, formerly Baseline, will pass underneath, and then the trains going to Moody will pass above to get their way out to the 417 to Queensview and Pinecrest and beyond. So it's really exciting to see all this stuff happening. If people want to take a look at the progress that's being made, you can really take a look at the snapshot updates on our site. So if you go to otrain.railfans.ca/snapshot, you can see our snapshot updates that we have. The snapshot updates are really a great way to see the progress that's happening all across stage 2, whether it's in the east, the west, or the south. We have it's all sorted by station. So if you want to see just one particular station, you can pick that station and see progress milestones happening from the beginning until now, different points along the way. Walkley Station, really, you can see from let's say January 2020, and then February 19, still relatively not much happening there, to now where the station structure is really rising quickly and rapidly. You can see even where the elevators are going to be in the stairs. So it's a great way to take a look at what's happening. And I want to give a shout out to all those um, who are following us and all those who send in pictures either via Twitter, via email, or other channels. It's great to be sharing those pictures, and we're very appreciative of your time in taking those pictures and sending them in. And they become part of our archive. So people in the future will be able to come to our site, take a look, and what did Walkley Station look like before? What did Jeanne d'Arc, or what did Montreal Road? Again, another station that's changed significantly from what it was before, which was really bus stops on the side of the highway off ramp. So it's great to be able to see all this. A question I commonly get is, how do I submit pictures for the snapshot updates? Very simple. You can either send them via Twitter at RailFans Canada, or best way is to send them by email. So you can send them to me at snapshot@railfans.ca. The only thing I ask is if you can just send individual emails, so that it's easier for me to distinguish what date the pictures were taken. So if you send a separate email per day, per station, it makes the task of loading them on the site much easier, because sometimes it's initially I was getting emails of about 30 pictures spread over about 4 stations on multiple different days, and it's like I don't even know what's going on anymore, so it's hard to track at that point. So snapshot@railfans.ca, just separate emails. We'll make sure to get them on the site. I make sure to put credit on the site for who's sending them in. That's very important. And that's pretty much all I have to say about that. Go check it out on the site. Lots of pictures coming in weekly at this point, all across the Ottawa region. I'm just going to take a look at the questions here. just take a look at what people are commenting. Bayview seems big with line 2, but Lincoln Fields is much bigger. That's definitely true. Lincoln Fields, again, is going to be a 3-platform station. So again, as I mentioned earlier, it's going to be a transfer point from once you arrive in from going westbound, the trains will split to Moody and to Algonquin. So what's going to happen is you're going to have 3 platforms. There's going to be 2 platforms going further west and southwest, Moody and Algonquin, and then there'll be another platform separate of that that'll bring you back to downtown. So depending on the time of day, you'll either switch platform if you weren't on the right train to continue your trip, or if it's after hours or on weekends when the service frequency is lower, there's going to be a shuttle train that will operate between Moody and Lincoln Fields, and then the main line will just come from let's say Trim in the east, continue to Lincoln Fields, and then finish at Algonquin. And then there'll be like a shuttle train that'll just go between Lincoln Fields and Moody to bridge the gap, so that they don't have to have too many trains operating at the same time. But it's really exciting to see that station rising. I'm really excited to see how that plays out and how the trains all look. It's going to be a really busy looking station once that's done. Bayview is also going to be interesting, because we'll have, again, like it was previously before line 2 shut down, the Confederation line, line 1 above, line 2 underneath, but line 2 is going to have platforms that are double the length than what they used to be. They used to be around 40 meters. Now they're going to be 80, due to the Stadler Flirt multiple unit trains that are twice as long as the previously used trains, which are the Alstom Credia Lint. Those trains will still be used, but they'll be coupled together. There'll be 2 trains coupled together that make them twice as long. So Bayview is going to see longer platforms, as all those stations on line 2 will. That's one of the biggest changes that's going to be happening on the existing 5 stations on 2. As well, Bayview is going to have a second platform, not going to really be actively used, but it'll be there in case of emergency, or if they want to park a train, or if they need to increase frequency for whatever reason. There's flexibility already there. So Paul Devi said Bayview might see a huge tower development start this year. We hope so. We hope so. That's going to be the Trinity development, just at the corner of, well, just across from Bayview Station, just at the corner of Albert. And that's going to be, if it's built the way that they're saying, it's going to be the tallest building in Ottawa at, I think, around 64, 65, 66 stories. It's going to be massive. It's going to be really exciting to see that. And there's going to be a pedestrian bridge connecting between that and the station. You can already see a station column kind of sticking up in the middle of the field area there near the station. It's going to look a little lonely for a while until those towers are built, but you know, it just goes to show that those connectivity options are going to be put in place. So talked a little bit about LRT in Ottawa. I'm going to move on now to the Réseau Express Métropolitain à Montréal, the REM. And hopefully everybody's been able to see the video I did at Edouard Montpetit. That was back in November. They gave us media a great opportunity to explore the station in its construction state. It's going to be the deepest station, metro station in Canada, second deepest in North America, at about 70 some meters below ground, right in the heart of the Mount Royal Tunnel and Mount Royal itself. The station is really impressive because it's going to be so deep. They're saying approximately 20 building stories underground, if you want to think of that. So if for those in Ottawa, if you look at, let's say, the World Exchange Plaza or the Sun Life Financial Center in Ottawa, those buildings are about 20 stories. So picture a building of that height underground. That's what you get at Edouard Montpetit. Again, being that deep, they're going to be using elevators to shuttle people from the surface down to the underground concourse. The elevators will take about 25 seconds. There'll be about 5 of them. I'm hoping, I didn't ask at the time, I was too engrossed in the experience of exploring this place. I didn't ask, but hopefully they're going to have some sort of glass or windows on them so that people can actually see the you know, the speed and the depth that they're traveling to reach these trains deep underground. So it's going to be exciting to see that. Definitely invite you to check it out on the YouTube channel, the Edouard Montpetit REM videos. There's one in French, there's one in English, depending on which one you prefer. If you understand both English and French, definitely check both of them out. The French one is narrated pretty much by the engineers and the project managers of the REM. So they give a bit of a different, slightly different information on there. The English one is mostly my take and providing some interpretation as to what was experienced and what was shown and what the station is going to be like. So if you have the time and you want to watch both, you kind of get a bit of a different point of view if you watch both of them. But really, the REM is hopefully going to open later this year. First segment is going to be between Brassard and Gare Centrale. Very excited about that. A little disappointed that the first section doesn't also include McGill and Edouard Montpetit, but that's going to be coming in a year or two down the road. But it's going to be great to see these fantastic Alstom Metropolis fully automated trains operating. It's going to be just like the Vancouver SkyTrain, essentially, where there's no driver or operator on the train. It's all going to be computerized and automated. They'll be running autonomously. In a sense, it's obviously going to be people at the control center monitoring and making sure everything's working properly. But great advantage with this, the front window. You're going to be able to get right up into the window and look straight out or look right behind and see the great views of the city as you're approaching, crossing the Samuel de Champlain Bridge. Beautiful bridge. That might actually be really fun to ride at night with the light show that bridge puts off. Just seeing the lights and the spectroluminescence of the bridge when the different light patterns and the light shows that it does. That'll probably be something really interesting to see when the train is crossing it at night as a passenger. So definitely looking forward to that. Hopefully we'll be able to do some more video features on the REM in the coming months and the coming years. There's definitely a lot of opportunity there. Again, same as the O train, the pandemic really puts the brake pedal on maximum as far as these things happen. So, keeping an eye out and making sure that as soon as an opportunity presents itself, that they're giving you some great content on these things. So hopefully, the pandemic finally comes under control so that things like this can happen and we can get back to our normal lives and not be living like this for hopefully too much longer. But, it's proven to be quite unpredictable so far. So definitely looking forward to the REM. Did an interview with Jean-Vincent Lacroix, our REM spokesperson, a couple months ago. You can check that out as well on the YouTube channel. Talk about all the different aspects from the trains to the extension to the east, future extensions potentially going to Laval as well, going right into the Laval region. So really looking forward to the REM. Very much looking forward to that in a big way. So now obviously I want to talk about the system map. So we're going to flip back over to the computer. So as some of you people probably know, the system map was created by Derek Ellis, and he has done a phenomenal job on creating this, what I would consider a masterpiece. And I know a lot of people really love playing with this map because it shows so much detail, so much intricacies with the O-train system. For example, right now you can see, you can zoom in and out, you can move around, but what's really neat is when you really get down to it, you can see exactly where the tracks are, where the crossovers are too, as we approach Place Orleans. So you can see a crossover and switches, the train platform, the tail tracks. You can click on a station, it'll open the profile page on our website. So if you want to learn more about Jeanne d'Arc, you can click it, see some pictures or renders. It also shows you the Belfast yard. So all the yard tracks, the launching track, connector track to get to the main line. You can see around here, this was a pocket track or storage track that thus far hasn't been built. There was plans for that, but we'll see what happens. Approximately around here is where the second derailment happened, just west of Tremblay Station. So lots of interesting points here to see on it. You can see again the center platform stations. The checkered outline here illustrates where a potential platform extension could happen in the future. So for people not sure what I'm talking about with this, the stations were built as 90-meter platforms. The downtown underground stations, so Rideau, Parliament, and Lion, were built for their full length, or ultimate full length of 120 meters. But the outside stations were built at 90 meters. If ever they want to increase capacity on the line, there's a couple options that they can do. They can add more trains, or they can make the trains longer. So each train is composed of 2 LRV cars. Each car has 4 modules. They can lengthen the train from 4 modules to 5, which would require the platform being lengthened. So this right here shows where the lengthening would happen. On some stations, it's on one end, on some stations on the opposite end. So you kind of get an idea of how that works. And then you can see the transfer station here, interchange at Bayview. Again, showing two platforms, crossover here. Corso Italia, which was originally going to be called Gladstone. And as you can see, the double tracks converging back to single track operation, as line 2 will still be, for the most part, a single track line. So that's just a little bit about the map. Obviously, you can see that at Lincoln Fields, as we talked about before, the trains fly over one another to reach Algonquin and to go to Moody. So you can see all these features. You can see how the station platforms, center platform and a side platform, how it all comes together. And then what's really interesting is you can click in the map legend and you can add what is currently being proposed for the Barrhaven Line 1 extension and the Line 3 Canada extension. So everything I've shown thus far previously existed on the map. But what's new is the jump to Toronto. So yes, I know a lot of people have been wondering and excited about this. The map now is going to have Toronto region on it. And not just the TTC. So you can see right here, line 1, line 2, line 3, the Scarborough RT. Yes, we didn't forget about you, even though you're going to be closing in about a year or so. You'll be closing, but you won't be forgotten. Because line 2 is going to be extending further out into Scarborough. Line 4, Shepherd Young line. And then the Crosstown, the Eglinton LRT. And line 6, the Finch West LRT up here. Of course, again, you can see the yards, the Wilson Yard. I mean, that's got a heck of a lot of tracks. It's really impressive. But you can see, again, all of these different features. You can see where the crossovers are, the switches, where the platforms are. And then if we go down here to Spadina and all that, you can see how the lines intermix at those positions. So what else also was really neat, this right here is launching imminently. So if you go on to our system map website, so that's map.railfans.ca. Anytime now, because it's currently being loaded and updated, you'll be able to see and check out this new map. What isn't totally ready, but I'm going to give you a sneak peek right now, is that we also have the go lines on the map. That's still a bit of a work in progress. That'll be releasing to the public version very soon. But this really just goes to show how expansive the transit network is in Toronto. You can see the TTC system down over here and how sprawling and expansive and extensive the GO Transit and the GO Train system really is, whether it's going all the way to Niagara Falls or going to London. It's a new development. You can see where the stations are. You can see how the tracks operate. Again, same features as everywhere else. The switches, the crossovers, all that interesting stuff is completely available on this map. So just to talk a little bit about this a little more here, you can see the stations. If you click on one of the TTC stations, it will open the information page on RailFans. Obviously, the Toronto RailFans site is still a work in progress. So not every page has information on it yet, but we're still working on that. If you're interested in contributing to it, by all means, please reach out. You can reach me at webmaster at railfans.ca. We can talk about how you can get involved and contribute to our Toronto TTC subway site on Railfans. It's a great way to, whether you want to help contribute pictures for a station or whether you want to write up information about a station, either one or both, everything is welcome. Just reach out and get in touch, and we can talk a bit about how you can participate in that. And there's also information at the bottom of the homepage of the subway site as well. So taking a look again at the map here. So a couple of things I want to point out. New additions to the site. I'm going to turn off the Go Transit right now. You can click the jump button at the top, so you can go directly from Ottawa Gatineau. And I forgot to mention too, there's also the two proposed alignments for the Gatineau tramway on here as well. The one that comes from Elmer and then enters Ottawa, and the one from the Plateau also entering Ottawa, with the two different options here, the surface option on Wellington and the tunnel option under Spark Street. I'm hoping for the tunnel. Just putting that out there. Okay, because the tunnel is going to allow us to hopefully have an underground concourse between the existing Parliament and Lyon Station. So who wouldn't want to see an even bigger station with better connectivity, right? So fingers crossed, hoping for that. So that's how the map works right now. So you can jump between Ottawa and Gatineau. You can jump to Toronto. That looks great. There's also map legend, so you can break it down by the different systems. So OC Transpo, you can see the different lines. If you want to see line 1, you can click that. If you want to see line 4, the South Keys to Airport link, you can see that. We have Toronto, or STO and Gatineau, TTC lines, the GO lines, even the Union Pearson Up Express. So that's great. There's also map settings. So if you want to see the map, like the vector-based map, which is, the standard map here where you see the streets and no satellite view, so it's a little cleaner and easier to look at. But if you want to see detail overlaid with the satellite map, then you can click satellite base map and you can see exactly how it's going to pass through. It'll come through this forested area or it goes near these homes. As well along here, where it's going to be going in the Byron Linear Park between Byron Avenue and Richmond Road. It's all going to be underground, so you can see that. There's some 3D building effect, which is kind of cool. So all sorts of different features, and it's also got a dark mode if you want to watch it at night and not blow your eyes out, because it's white screen at night is really bright. And the other thing I want to talk about is feedback for the map. So obviously the map, especially the Toronto section, is a work in progress. Getting accurate, detailed data as far as the exact positioning of the line, as far as where the crossovers are, the curves, the platform locations. Everything is fairly accurate right now, but there could be little tweaks that need to be made, and we acknowledge that. So we provide two options for you to provide feedback on these aspects. So the first one is to contribute on GitHub. The map is available on GitHub. So if you're a developer and you know about this kind of stuff, you can expand the map, which would be great to add additional cities, and it can be incorporated into our map. Or you can see the code and how it all is put together. But in the context of what I'm talking about, you can open a new issue and write if there's a correction that needs to be made on the map. That's a great way of listing it. We can it can be tracked better and followed up on and investigated in that sense. Oops. Oh, I think I went to the wrong one. Uh-oh. Where'd you go? Oh, that's what happened. Okay. So GitHub is one option. If you're not a developer, if you're not familiar with GitHub, if you're not sure about how to submit issues, the second option is there's a button on the bottom, submit feedback. That's just a regular email. That goes to mail@railfans.ca. You can just outline what the issue is, if there's a bug with the map, or if let's say that the track isn't exactly aligned where it's supposed to be or where it actually is in reality, or the switch, there's something was missed, there's something that's just slightly off as far as the positioning. By all means, please share it with us. That way the map can become even more accurate, more precise. That's a great way to do it. So you have two options again: GitHub or email, whichever one you prefer. And that's really it. The map is really exciting. It's getting bigger and better all the time. Again, very special thanks to Derek Ellis, who has worked tirelessly on this map. It's such a phenomenal piece of work, from all the detail to just how it looks. It looks so good. It's something that you like. You just look at this map. And if I just zoom it back out to Toronto like this, if you look at this is something that they could actually put right in the station. Like, it just looks so it just knocks it really out of the park. It's beautiful and awesome to look at. It's fantastic. I love it. Thank you again, Derek. So with any luck there, you'll be able to go and check it out on the live site either now or in a short little bit. It's being loaded right now. And the Go Train network, I showed you a little preview there. It's going to be available very soon. There's still a little bit of work left to do on that, but I'll show it one more time before we move on to other things. Just look at that. Wow. It really stretches all the way from Barrie to Oshawa to London, Niagara Falls, Milton. Geez. And then you look at Ottawa's little network over there. Maybe one day we'll have a commuter network. Maybe. We'll see. So that's pretty much what I wanted to cover with the opening portion of the live stream here. So I'm going to turn to the questions now. So we're going to take a look and see what people have been writing. So Paul Devi, did they say what is causing the delay? So we're in this context, we're talking about stage 2 LRT, so the south extension, the Trillium line. They made mention of multiple factors, mostly COVID, pandemic, supply chain issues. A lot of things to be expected in that context. It's possible that the timeline to build the extension and revamp those stations was maybe a little too ambitious as well. But I'm sure the pandemic and the supply chain issues, we just look all around and you hear about car manufacturers or electronics, computer equipment, everything is being affected by this. So it's not too far of a stretch to really see as that as being an issue. Good news though, again, East is doing well, and hopefully the West, they said there's some schedule pressure on the West extension, but they're looking to see if they can't mitigate that, because that's still a couple years out from being completed. So there might be opportunities to try and bring that back in line, but they have said that there's some schedule pressures in that sense. So let's see. Are they opening up Pinecrest Creek? It used to be in concrete sewer. I'm not an expert on that one, so I can't really say. But I know that the creek has been realigned. There's been some culverts and some um, road road culverts and all that to pass over, as well as for the train and all that. I'm not as familiar with that particular creek in its previous form as to what it's going to be in the future. So I really can't comment on that too much. But you can go on railfans.ca in news and look at the different Fedco updates that we have posted there from the past couple of years. Some of the presentations show pictures of what they're doing and how they're changing it. So that would probably give you a better idea of what to expect on that. I apologize. I'm not really particularly. I'm not exactly sure what how to answer that, because I'm not super current on that one. David Bellerive says, I think the creek is supposed to be open as stormwater management. That sounds kind of like what I saw, but I'm not exactly sure as to what's going on there. So Luca asked, do you think with the amount of track incursions on the Confederation line that they should add platform screen doors, considering the Confed line is already automated? Well, I just want to clarify, the Confederation line does run ATO, automatic train operation, but there is an operator on the train providing additional vigilance, looking out, making sure that there's no obstructions on the track. If there's an issue, if somebody falls in the track, like an extra set of eyes, pushing as well to keep the train going and to start the train when it leaves the station. It won't start if there's nobody sitting in the train to initiate the departure, right? And to continue pressing like a dead man switch kind of thing, right? So if the operator stops interacting with the train will eventually stop like 10, 15 seconds later, just like most do. But in the context of this, should we have platform screen doors? That is an interesting question. That would have changed some options with the stations, let's say, because a lot of people complain about, well, the stations are really open air. They're, when it's raining, I get rained on. When it's snowing, I get snowed on. When it's hailing or freezing rain, I get sick and I get the flu. If it's windy, I'm getting blasted and I'm freezing out there in -20. It feels like -40 at Blair or at Le Breton. I mean, these are nice stations, right? In the summer when it's not too bad. But when the weather really turns, a lot of people have really commented, why did it have to be open air and yada this, yada that. So if you were to really enclose it, there'd still be some draft, let's say, right? From the trains or from the air blowing through the station. So a platform screen door, one, that would help isolate the platforms from the outside elements. Obviously, the stations are built open air, so even if they were to put platform screen doors at this point, I don't think that aspect would change much, because the air would just come from above or from the sides anyways. But in the context of your question of the amount of incursions, so for people who do follow the OC Transpo Twitter account, there has been, I don't know the exact number there, but just thinking off the top of my head, at least 2 or 3 in the past, let's say 2 or so months, where there was an interruption in service due to someone walking the guideway or being on the tracks, or being where they're not supposed to be, right? Which is on the platform. They're supposed to be on the platform. You're not supposed to be walking the track or screwing around somewhere. We don't know the context of what was going on, if it was somebody who was in distress, hopefully not, or was someone who was just feeling adventurous, or wanting to do some stupid video on TikTok. I don't know, but platform screen door, would that help? Well, platform screen doors do help prevent people falling on the tracks. So one, it is safer. There's no question that it doesn't add a safety aspect to things here, right? You're not going to fall on the tracks. You're not going to slip. If you're distracted and you're looking at your phone and then you fall onto the tracks, you're going to hit the glass door. So you're not going to fall on the tracks. The person's not going to drop their cell phone on the tracks. They're not going to drop their bag on the tracks. Because that creates issues as well. If there's some debris on the track, you don't want the train to go over that. So, I mean, there's all sorts of things from a service perspective, delivering reliable service, from a safety perspective of keeping people off the tracks, keeping it safer so that they don't accidentally fall on the tracks. There's all sorts of different aspects in that sense. Yes, I think it could help. But at the same time, the rest of the alignment, when you look at it, there's a sort of like a black chain link fence. Let's say it's about 5-6 feet tall. Platform screen door is not going to do much if somebody wants to climb and jump the fence, right? So, I don't see anybody in the world taking, complete. I mean, you look at the old Prince of Wales Bridge, that's since been renamed. Unfortunately, I don't have the name in front of me, and I don't want to pronounce it wrong, so I'm just going to leave it at that. We all know which bridge we're talking about, the one north of Bayview Station that crosses the Gatineau, the old rail bridge. They've put fences there, fairly elaborately, I should say, for quite some time now, to prevent people from crossing that bridge by foot or jumping off into the river and getting themselves killed. And yet the fence keeps getting ripped down, or people continue to post pictures that they were there and having crossed the bridge. So will the platform screen door completely prevent track incursions or people getting to where they're not supposed to be on the alignment? No. Would it help from safety? Yes. But will it solve the tracking incursion problem that we've seen a couple instances of in the recent past? I don't think so. And the added expense and the re-engineering that they would have to do with that, I think, I don't. If someone's intent on getting on the track, they're going to find a way, or they're going to walk out of the station and jump the fence somewhere else. So nobody should be doing that. But is the platform screen door an option that would really fix that? It's debatable. I don't really think they would find another way. If they're intent on getting there, they're going to find another way. So Carling will see a lot of people. Many, Luca, they still have they automated? I still see drivers. Are the cameras working yet? Um, Again, just coming back to the Confederation line, it's automated in the sense that the trains operate themselves, but there's still an operator providing vigilance, an extra set of eyes, and uh, initiating the departure from the station, and constantly pressing on the button or the toggle, like the dead man switch, let's say, to make sure that the train keeps going and doesn't stop because it stops receiving input from the operator for safety purposes. Um, there's still people whistling from what I've seen. The cameras seem to work from what I've seen, but there's still the platform staff that are still looking and whistling and providing the go cue to head out of the station. So never really had a definitive answer on that, if the camera's really been fixed or not. Where will Trillium be single and double tracked? So from Bayview to Corso Italia, it's going to be double track. Actually, if we look at our wonderful map, because again, a lot of people are wondering, why did they shut it down? And if it's still single track, well, it's still single track. So look, from Bayview, Corso Italia, double track, and then just around Aberdeen Street, it falls back to single track, goes through Dow's Lake, which is renamed from Carling. And then just before it passes under University Drive here, or near the roundabout, it's going to become double track to go through Carlton. Then it falls back to single track, crosses the Rideau River, Mooney's Bay, single platform, and single track. Then it becomes double track again, but it's only a passing track. Falls back to a single track for Walkley. And then it continues on Greenboro. And then just before arriving at South Keys, it becomes a double track. And then it carries on from there. But for the most part here, south of this, it's going to be a single track operation. The line to the airport has double track at Uplands and then collapses back again towards the airport. Going down towards Limebank, again, mostly a single track, becomes double track around Leitrim, Bowesville, and Limebank. So hopefully that gives you, again, a bit of an idea. For the most part, say 50%, single track, 50% double track. You can check out more details on that if you want to look at the Railfan system map. Again, map.railfans.ca. You can check that out. You'll be able to see exactly where it is, where it isn't, and how all that is configured. Yeah, it would be a huge retrofit to fix the platform screen doors. Edouard Montpetit will really be a stop for transit geeks, that's for sure. I can't wait to see what will be done at the airport for the station. Saving big bucks, going above ground and having a dedicated right of way. It would cost so much more for tunnel. Will the Trinity development be rental apartments or condos? I thought I read it was going to be both, but I'm not totally sure on that. See, Paul Devi says, I think rentals. David Bellarive, I think mostly rentals. Someday city center will be redeveloped. It's going to look a little weird next to some big, amazing towers. So I'm going to wait and see here. So what will the frequency be on line 2? It's going to be pretty much the same as it is right now, 12 minutes. What was, like obviously you want more passing tracks on line 2, allows the more trains to operate or more frequently, right? It's unfortunate that the passing track is not at the Walkley station rather than just being slightly north of it, because that would have potentially reduced one of the bottlenecks to have increased it to a higher frequency than being stuck at 12 minutes. Like you're stuck by the weakest link on the whole line, right? And that's still one that remains from before, so you can't really get around that. If that would have been designed right into the station, well, instead of trains coming from one way slowing and then you have the other ones coming in and then okay, now we can both go, because then it rejoins the other line. It could have been done at Walkley Station with 2 platforms, in which case, okay, well, train comes in, boarding and alighting passengers. The other one comes in, and this one's already leaving, and then this one waits. Like, it's more productive to be stopping to let people on and off than to be stopping on the side of a track between stations, which, doesn't really advantage anybody. So hopefully there's a great map of what Toronto will have in 2030, TTC plus Go extensions. Yeah, there was something, I saw that on Twitter. I think it was yesterday or the day before. I think shared by the TTC design Twitter hashtag, and showing, all the additional lines, the extensions. Ontario line, I think, was on there as well. It's really going to be quite impressive to see how much it's been improved upon compared to what it was, previously. Especially with just the 4 lines. So what else do we got here? Moose. Will you put on a streetcar map? That is possible. I mean, talk to Derek about that. I think we might have talked about that in the past. But I mean, the intention too at this point is to sort of finalize the Toronto portion, and then hopefully try and add in Montreal so that at least our 3 sites are covered, and then go from there. But yeah, the streetcar would be interesting, and as they pretty much operate on a fixed routing that doesn't really deviate much, that might be an option and a possibility in the future. Moose, I don't know what this. I don't even want to talk about Moose. I mean, Moose is a group that want to build commuter rail lines in Ottawa. And the way they would do that, or at least a portion of that, is to use previously used and now no longer operating rail corridors and lines that are still in place. So to minimize the time it would take to operate to open this, as well as the cost involved. Now, a portion of their plan involved utilizing the section of track between Bayview and Greenboro South Keys for their network. Well, the problem with that is that then there's no more Trillium line or line 2. It would be the Moose line, right? That would be pretty much their main corridor that would pass through. Obviously, that they say that that's a bit of a linchpin and a key component of their network. Well, that line belongs to the city of Ottawa and OC Transpo, so it's sort of, we haven't really heard from them in a while, and it's probably because, well, we're expanding with stage 2. I don't see them finishing that and then shutting it down and then starting to renovate yet again, although they might. But after the investment that they've put into this, I don't think it's going to be changing hands anytime soon. So I don't know how that really impacts Moose, but most of their lines are going to pass through that corridor. I don't think that leaves them with many alternatives other than coming up into other portions of the city to try and serve. So I don't really know where that stands. It seems like I don't really think it's something that's really going to advance, to be honest. At least through that core section, they might have lines that come from elsewhere, because they wanted to have a line from Chelsea, from Wakefield. I think there was one from Ange Gardien or Buckingham. I'm not exactly sure. And then going towards Alexandria, like the farther out rural areas, which would be a good option, because you have a lot of people that are coming from, let's say, Rockland, Clarence Creek, and beyond, Amberer, and a lot of these people will take their car in and then park at a park and ride, and then take the bus or the train to complete their trip. So it would be a great option if there was some sort of commuter system. Whether there is enough people to really make that sustainable and worthwhile, that's what remains to be seen, though. If we look in the side of Gatineau, especially going towards Chelsea and Wakefield, there's a regional transit operator called Transcolline that operate a network of buses, but it's a very sporadic service, in which it's typically 1 or 2 trips in the morning that go from, let's say, Wakefield to downtown Gatineau and Ottawa, and 1 or 2 trips in the evening that go back. I mean, and to give more context to it, I think their bus fleet is really 7 to 10 buses. So I mean, there's a limit to how much they can do there. I don't know what the ridership is on this, but if it's built and sized seemingly small in that sense, I don't think they anticipate many people. So to then convert it to a rail service, I don't know what more that's going to offer other than maybe a smoother ride rather than going on a bumpy road. So I don't know what would happen with that. But for the other regions in the city, going to like Castleman and Alexandria and those areas, it could be an option that might work a little better. I don't know. It would have to be seen there. So Paul Devy made mention the REM stations were built for Montreal's winter. They are. That's due to the fact that the stations are enclosed and they do have the platform screen doors right from the get-go. Again, that's critical because it is a fully automated line. There's not going to be an operator on the train. So if something does happen, the train's going to get awfully close before it would even potentially even have any opportunity to react. So, obviously platform screen doors in a fully automated system are critical and key and absolutely required. So there's a difference for that. But the REM stations are really amazing. Big size, beautiful, lots of wood, lots of glass. So Nouvelle-Écosse or Nouvelle-Écosse, well, it's kind of one word. I wonder if Trillium will ever be extended across the river like previously proposed. I mean, there's a bridge there already. LOL. It should be extended across. Now, the issue is that, one, it's a single track crossing right now. Where would it go on the opposite side? Well, we've kind of played around with this for a while now. If it were to cross the bridge, it would come out just near the Université Québec à l'Outaouais. It would continue behind, the homes and all that on Taché, Alexandre Taché, and then probably come out near Terrasse la Chaudière. So let's say it went around there. Would that really work? It could, but the city of Ottawa has already said, and I think the STO has already said it too, Bayview Station isn't built in size to accommodate that much flow. Same for the Confederation line, because then you'd have all these people switching onto the train, being dropped at Bayview, and then the portion of the Confederation line. So all those trains coming from the west going downtown would have, if they're already packed, I don't know where these extra people would go. If you have like thousands of people coming in every hour, these are additional people that are getting on a train at Bayview and then riding to Pimisi. Probably not many people getting off there, because most of the people getting on and off there are transiting to go to Gatineau with the bus. So they would be switching that to Bayview. And then they would be getting on, or they would continue past Pimisi, Lyon. Some would probably get off. Parliament, more would get off. Rideau, I think the balance of them would have gotten off by then. But it creates that little portion there between Bayview and Line and Parliament, where the line is really oversaturated at that point. There'd be too many people. So they'd have to have more trains operating by OC Transpo. Just to really service that particular portion, it doesn't make much sense. And now the STO is going to be advancing the tramway project, which alignment they use, how it's going to be coming into Ottawa, whether it's the surface option in Wellington, whether it's the tunnel option under Sparks. Again, hoping for Sparks. It'll be nicer looking. It'll be underground, bigger connected stations. Hopefully we have proper entrances on Spark Street itself, which would be really cool. But with the tramway, it would, people are coming right into downtown rather than having to take a bus or a train to Terrasse or the station near Taché and Université de Québec à l'Outaouais, switching from there to get down to the train to then ride to Bayview to then, I mean, how many transfers? People aren't even happy about the airport thing. I don't think people are going to be transferring and transferring and transferring. 3 connections to get from their home, let's say in the Plateau or Elmer or wherever, to try and get downtown Ottawa, when right now there's already one bus that probably brings them from practically their home right downtown. Maybe, or 2 if they have to take that epibus. So to just add on to it and then oversaturate, it's just not feasible. But they haven't ruled it out entirely. The bridge right now is in the process of being converted to have active multi-use pathway or like a pedestrian, bike, hike, jogging, cycling, crossing on the side of it. Or so I should say in the middle, it's going to be decked over. So it's going to be an active crossing, so people will be able to, bike or walk across that bridge from Bayview all the way to the opposite side in Gatineau. That's going to be great. Hopefully that opens in the next year or so. It's taking a little while to get that advanced and under construction, but apparently the shovels have hit the ground and they're starting to work on that. But they haven't ruled out the possibility that trains could return to it one day. The city of Ottawa does own the bridge. They still have said that that is a possibility. Still have to wait and see what happens with that. So another question, a bit off topic, but what do people think about the Bank Street Tunnel proposal? Ooh, interesting. And how far south should it go, given that Walkley to South Keys, and Bank and the Trillium Transway are only about 250 meters apart? I mean, this has been thrown around for the past year or two by people. I don't think this is something that's going to happen anytime soon because they obviously have their eye on the next phase being extending the Confederation line to Barrhaven and Canada. So I would see that as happening first. Hopefully, the Vanier region sees some sort of improvement with transit as well, whether it's a streetcar or some tunneled solution. But as far as the Bank Street tunnel, I don't know how feasible that is or realistic to expect that happening in the near future. Maybe in the more distant future, but in the near future, I don't think that's a priority by the people who make really the big decisions on this stuff. But if it were to happen, so hypothetically, if they did go ahead with it, that's true. Walkley to South Keys, um, really the Transaway and the train are really fairly close together, and you know doesn't need to go that far or interconnect with that one. But if it were to go from, let's say, Parliament to um, Lansdowne or Billings Bridge, I would say that's where it would make sense. Beyond that, there's already the Trillium line, and then there's already the bus roadway. I think you start getting diminishing returns if you go beyond Billings Bridge at that point. Some fiction. Dream proposals have the Bank Street Tunnel going to South Keys. I don't know. I mean, anything's possible, but I don't think that's entirely realistic, if I can say it like that. I think it'd be more realistic to expect it to go to Billings Bridge and see from that what else would happen. But again, I think it's still, in general, a bit of a long shot. I think it's more likely that they would advance the stage 3 Barrhaven, Canada, hopefully maybe Carling LRT, as someone, as you pointed out in the chat there. Carling LRT is something they've been talking about for a long time, and really haven't had anything concrete happen on that. So I would think that'd be more of a priority than a Bank Street tunnel, because it is a pretty busy corridor, and there's a lot of development happening around there, especially with the new hospital site being advanced. And I think that are there major pinch points around Bronson and Queen Elizabeth Drive, though, to Bank Street? Thoughts on need, feasibility? I'm having a little trouble following that question. If you could rephrase it, that would be great. Can come back to that in a minute. Does anybody else have any questions that they want to ask? Whether it be about the Ottawa system, the Montreal Metro, the REM, the map, our websites, anything related to that, feel free to ask. Just taking a look at the question there again. I'm not exactly sure. The potential Carling LRT is, in some cases, proposed to go to Lansdowne. There are major pinch points around Bronson. Oh, I think might be referring to getting it from Carling to Lansdowne. I think that might be what you're trying to get at in the question. That is something that people have thought about, and I really don't know what to say about that. I mean, obviously, that would be if a project has a challenge, that would definitely be the challenge to figure out the best course of action on how to facilitate that to go through. Is it likely that the Ottawa system will ever be 100% automated? I would think that would be more in the distant future. That would be something that they would probably investigate when the train fleet would need to be replaced entirely. And then they would probably be looking at revamping the stations as well. I guess the platform screen doors would probably be a necessity at that point. So there'd be a multiple factors that would be involved in this. Now that we're getting more trains for stage 2, bringing it up to about 72 units in total, about 36 coupled trains. I don't think that's going to be happening anytime soon, but I would say in the distant future, it probably would be a possibility, but might be looking at 40, 50 years or down the road from there. I don't think that would be anything we would see anytime soon. Okay, so a question from our friend David Bellerive. Favorite metro station in Montreal? Well, my Wi-Fi at home is called Beta Cam, so that's probably my favorite station. But jokes aside, Beta Cam is definitely my favorite. I just love the name, how big the station is. You have the orange line at the top, green line passing directly underneath, 90 degrees underneath, perpendicular, and then the yellow line farther down. And just to walk from the entrance on St. Catherine Street, in the one in the Parc Émilie Gamelin, sort of that standalone entrance building there. Just to walk from there all the way to the yellow line is really I love that. I just love it. You go in a little entrance building, and it's so unassuming how big the station is underneath when you walk in by that entrance. So you walk in, you go down the escalators and stairs, then you're in the underground concourse. You follow that hallway, then you finally get to the fair gates, and then I think you turn 90 degrees left or right, depending on which direction or line direction of the orange line you want. You go down one more level, then you get to the orange line. Then you go down another set of escalators or stairs. Then you get to the green line, and then you follow the signs to get to the I think it's the Angrignon Green Line platform, I think, or it could be the Honoré Beaugrand. I think it's the Angrignon. And then at the far end of that, there's another set of, but to the side, there's another set of escalators that go down, and then you see the nice mural up there, Man and His World Expo 67. Love that. You go down another hallway, sort of has a bit of a curve. Then you come out to the piece of world peace thing there in yellow on the wall. And you go to the sides, or you cross straight over, and then you go down one more time. Then you finally get to the yellow line. I mean, very interesting. I'm interested to see how they finally do get the elevators all the way to the yellow line, because it's practically a block away, several stories down from everything else. So it's an interesting layout, but it's a really interesting station. I love it. One time I transferred to the yellow line, and it was so far I thought I got lost. Maybe there's a shorter way I don't know about. No, there's no shorter way. I mean, there's only one way to get there, really. I mean, when you're going through the orange line and the green line, unless you come down the wrong way and you get to the wrong green line platform, because the yellow line accesses on one platform and not the other one, so then you'd have to go back up, cross over, and then come back down. But if you got it straight by following the yellow line signs that are hanging down there from the start, there's no quicker way. That's really the only way to get there. The only way it would be longer is if you took a wrong turn somewhere, trying to get down to the green line, the correct platform. But yeah, it's pretty fun. I love that station. Just going to check. I don't think. Is there any other questions? I'm just going to check on the. Oh, okay, there we go. So we just got word. I just got word from Derek Ellis. Thank you, Derek. The system map is now live. So if you want to go to our website, you can go map.railfans.ca. Oops. And you'll be able to see the new map. It's going to have the Toronto TTC portion on it, OC Transpo STO, and the Go Transit or the Go Train and Up Express. That's going to be coming very soon. Just not fully ready yet, but that's going to be coming imminently. So stay tuned for that. That's going to be coming very soon. But hopefully everybody, you go check it out. Derek's done again fantastic job. It's really a fantastic map. There's no map, I never come across a map that's as exciting and fun to browse and look at as this one is. So thank you again, Derek. And again, for those who are listening, if you do see points that need correction, adjustment, or bugs, or anything really, if a station's not perfectly lined up, or a track goes just slightly different than what we have indicated, and you know that, by all means, please make use of the two feedback options, whether it be GitHub or by email. There's buttons on the side of the map, just at the top there. The sidebar at the right there, the two bottom icons are the feedback options. So either GitHub or by email. That would be your way to share those comments with us. So that's pretty much what I have to say about everything else. If give you guys another 30 seconds. If there's no other questions, we'll probably wrap it up. So again, thank you all very much. I hope everyone has a great week ahead. And please be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel. There's a subscribe button at the bottom. Please like it as well. Click the little bell if you want notifications when new videos come out. Definitely some interesting projects in the works for 2022 for rail fans. Again, a lot of it is, contingent on where the pandemic stands and what's actually possible to be done due to the pandemic, in health restrictions and stuff like that. So instructions unclear, unsubscribed. Oh, well, I guess sometimes you lose someone. If you need to subscribe, the subscribe button, I think right here, it's, I don't know if I'm getting mirrored or not in this, but it would be to the bottom. I'll point down here and it would be to the right of where I'm pointing. And then there's a bell. So if you click both of those, you're going to be golden. And I'm sure David was being funny. Ah, now it's clear. Yes. Yes, Padawan, it's clear now. It's a good one. Okay, well, I guess that's it for the questions. Thank you all for tuning in. Hoping to try and do these live streams once a month moving forward. We'll see what happens. But thank you again for tuning in. Please be sure to subscribe, like the the um, the the live stream, and be sure to check out the REM videos. Really insightful and really interesting to see. It's going to be fun to look back in 2-3 years from now, once that station is open, and seeing what it looked like before, and then seeing what it looks like in its final state. It's going to be quite something else, as well as just seeing the whole system in general. Very excited to see that as well. Stage 2, hopefully the Trillium line doesn't get delayed any further, and hopefully they can make up a bit of time in the next year to get that thing open as soon as possible. East Extension, West Extension, as well as the multitude of projects happening in Toronto. Hoping to see the Finch West, the Crosstown, Ontario line advance in the next couple of years, and the Line 2 extension as well into Scarborough, and seeing the Line 3 Scarborough RT shut down. That's going to be the end of an era, to see that all happen. So a lot of different things happening this year, next year. Definitely keep following us. Check out the website, railfans.ca. Thank you again for watching. Happy New Year. Stay safe, mask up, get vaccinated. Take care. Take care of everyone else. And we'll see you again in the very near future. Take care.